Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards, and
January, Liddell. Aloha.
Today we're going to talk about why we love Mondays. And this feels appropriate since Monday is one of those days after the weekend that we're like, oh, here we go again. So why did we used to feel that way, January? Why did you used to feel like, oh, Monday?
I think for me and for most people, when you're working a 9 to 5 job and you have a job to go to, then people are dreading Mondays because they're stuck in a cubicle or they're stuck in a building for a certain amount of set hours. And I think that's why I dreaded Mondays, is because I felt trapped. I felt trapped in this type of environment, and I believe that's how my husband is feeling. So I hear it from him, but I know you and I, Helen, and a lot of entrepreneurs have a different mindset and a different type of feeling or perspective towards Monday. And I know for me, I love Mondays, and I love Mondays because it's the start of a new week. It's a start of new possibilities, new opportunities. And I don't know, you and I, Helen, are just every time it's Monday, we're like, woo, Monday. Why do you feel that way for Monday?
I was actually going to give the same reason. I was thinking back on that question. Why did I previously hate or dread Mondays? And it was exactly the same reason, because somebody else owned my time, or I should say somebody else had contracted and purchased my time for set amount. And when you, like you said, feel trapped, or you feel like your time belongs to somebody else, you don't feel in ownership of it. You don't feel free. Hence, nothing sexier than freedom. Why I wrote in the book so many times that I had just walked out of jobs, walked away from jobs, just chose me over jobs. I was just trying to figure out which one was going to be the best fit. Turns out a job was never the best fit for me. I was meant to own my own time, be my own boss. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay. There's a lot of people who actually love their jobs and love their Mondays. They can't wait to go back into work and see their coworkers and meet their boss and do the work that they actually love to do. That is amazing. Which brings us to why do we love Mondays? January, why do you love Mondays?
I love Mondays because, just as Charette, our friend Charette, her Bessie Charette has said, it's Sparkle Mondays, and Mondays are just, for me, it shows a newness of life, a newness of week, and it just excites me. I don't know what it is about Monday that excites me, but it's the fact that I can talk to new people, I can meet new people, I can market to new people, I can learn about different things. And Monday is when everybody goes to either work or school. So it's that quiet time and that intentional time that I have for my business. And so I'm really excited because I'm trying to market what I do. And so Mondays for me it's a joy. It gives me joy, and it's a different perspective. And you're right, there are people out there that do enjoy their job and that they do enjoy Mondays, because you're right, it's a way for them to reconnect with their coworkers, just go into their own cubicle. Sometimes it's a quiet solace time from family. Some people love to go to work, so then it could be like quiet for them. And so for me, it's the same thing, that is my quiet time. Mondays are my quiet time when pretty much everybody is either at work or school. But yeah, so that's why I love Monday. How about you? What is it about Monday that just invigorates you?
I kind of started feeling like Mondays were a new year on repeat, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, kind of the same feeling. So the weekend kind of reminded me of, after the holidays are over, things were busy, you've got time with everybody who's home from work. And then Monday comes around, and it's like, boom, let's go, start your engines, boom, boom, boom. I felt like when I was working Monday through Friday, or sometimes even Tuesday through Saturday. I remember when I had these jobs and I was exhausted, and then the weekends were like, oh, rest, right? I got to be with my friends. We got to go on girls' trips. We got to plan all these things. And I really looked forward to the weekends. Now, as an entrepreneur, stay at home and work all the time for myself, I've got that every single day. So Mondays are like, hey, let's start your engines. It's the beginning of the race. It's go time, because Sundays I've really put into practice of just rest, spend time with my husband, give him a lot of attention, give myself a lot of self-care during the weekends. The trips, I've evolved a lot over my time. Now in my 40s, you know, girls' trips can be any time of the year I want. And I've worked myself up to this life. I've thought to myself, wow, what a crazy turn of events. I remember when the life I lived was a life I used to dream about. And now I've got that life, and it's amazing, but also evolution doesn't stop, growth doesn't stop. You can only live the same life so many times. And when I found myself just home all the time, becoming more introverted, just a laziness was just right there if I wanted. It didn't feel good anymore. I'm a doer. You're a doer, January. It's like we have to do something. We have to be goal oriented. We've got to look forward to something. It really is the journey in between, right? And the journey for me starts over, it feels like every Monday. And like you mentioned, Shrek, I love how she does sparkly Mondays. That makes me feel like, okay, that's another addition to Mondays, right?
Helen, I just want to say, I love that we are podcasting together. This gives me joy. And so Friday is my other woohoo day, right? I feel like every day is kind of a woohoo day for me, but really Mondays and Fridays. And one of the thoughts that I had in my mind is that when we're old and gray, Helen, when we're like in our 70s, 80s, 90s, we can look back on these podcasts and remember what we're telling each other and what we're sharing with each other, sharing with our audience about being a doer and evolving and growing. And I love that because our minds and our brain cells can actually grow as long as we're exercising it. And this interaction that we're having with each other and we're having with the audience, that, hey, this is important for us to really look deep into our mindset, look deep into why we love the things that we love, why we do the things that we do. And, Mondays, Sparkly Mondays, is a very important day for both Helen and I because it is, like she said, it's a new year. It feels like a new year. It feels like fireworks all the time. All the time. I'm going to tell you, it feels like that all the time. Every time Monday hits, I'm like, woo! And I see all these fireworks and like, I just light up. And I hope that's the same when it goes like when we're older.
No doubt. During the weekend, I have a lot of ideas and creativity that comes to the surface, and I want to just explode with them. Now, many people and entrepreneurs and a lot of people actually do that. They're like, social media, boom, let me just explode all over that. But for me, I really try to pull myself back and just kind of be a little bit more calm on the weekends. But because of that, once Monday comes, I'm like, ideas, go. Like, let's make it full force. Let's have that momentum and keep the momentum going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? And like I said, weekends I usually spend time to rest, or Saturdays just I like to do more just leisure time. Like whatever, keep that space open for myself, keep that space open for my husband and my friends. I really try to maintain that. And during the week I also try to implement that in, but really when it comes to an entrepreneurial mindset, Monday for me is the big kahuna. I mean, that I don't know what kahuna means in Hawaii, but I know that's probably a reference. And then I thought of you right away. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't disrespect her. Okay. Okay, good. Anyways, where was I at? Squirrel.
Girl, you caught me off guard. Big Kahuna. Big Kahuna is you're right. It was a very good reference. Yes, that is correct. It's correct the way that you put it. So I was not taking offense at all. You know me, don't really take offense. I did want to share something else. So my husband and I were talking about what we ask children. Typically people always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And this is something that you said earlier about what you envisioned your life to be. So the question that now I'm implementing to whoever young people that I see, not just my children, but young people, is what do you envision your life to look like? What kind of lifestyle would you like to have? And that is the question that I would love to share with our audience to encourage them to ask their own children or children that they know, what kind of lifestyle would you like to have when you grow up? Not so much like, what do you want to do what do you want to be when you grow up? Because those things can change over time. I wanted to be a teacher, but when I think back about the questions I would ask myself, one of the questions I ask myself is, what would you like to wear when you go to work? I know that sounds like a really like weird kind of question, but I'm a girl, right? So whenever I would think of what I'd like to wear, I always thought of I want to wear business suits, like I want to wear business casual, I want to look professional. So being that I wanted to look in that kind of way, I've molded my life to be that type of persona where I can wear business casual. Like right now, I'm not obviously wearing business casual because it's a fun Friday. However, most of the days I'm actually wearing something that I enjoy wearing. And that to me is a sign of what gives me joy. So the question is, if Mondays are days that you dread, days that you feel not like yourself, or days that you feel blah, because I've had those days. I have blah days, but Mondays are not my blah days. Mondays are like my let's go time days. So if you want that day to be a go time day, what do you need to change in your life in order for your Monday to be a let's go day? And that's a question that I like to ask our listeners.
Oh, I love that question. I think that question can be expanded to almost every single day, but especially like you said, to change the mindset for Monday. The thing about the days is these are labels that were placed on the world. They were given by certain people who said we need structure. And by default, we are creatures of habit. So we also try to have structure so that way it helps us stay organized in life, which is a very positive thing. Don't let your Monday get away from you. Mondays are what you make it. Mondays belong to you despite if you are in contract for somebody else owning your time. Remember, there's a trade there, and the trade is your permission. You gave permission to have that trade in your life. If you don't like it, maybe really step back and say to yourself, what can I do to change this? Because the answers are always there. You just got to get out of your own head. You got to get out of your own way. Mondays can be go day for you if that's what you want. And I'm sure if your Mondays suck and you're tired of feeling sick and tired of Mondays sucking, I'm sure you want some change.
I love that we talk about mindset a lot on our podcast. And it really is a change of mind into what we're attaching that label to. So if Mondays are your, oh, I don't want to deal days, I don't want to be here day, I don't want to, whatever negative connotation that you have with your Monday, I hope that you revisit that and you change it and alter it so that it could be positive. There is beauty in being positive about your days, especially if there are days like Mondays that are very frustrating or flustering or overwhelming for you. There is beauty and there is actually health benefits when you do think positively. So that's why we here at Sexy Freedom Media Podcast always encourage you to think positively, to change your mindset, to alter or change the way you look at things so that it won't be so dreadful or so exacerbating for you. So we love our Mondays. We're here to share how much we love our Mondays, but that's because we attached a different meaning to it. And we hope that you can reflect on what it is that you'd like your Monday to be, because ultimately we are our creators of our lives, and we can choose and decide yes or no to certain things. Yes, we all have to work. Yes, we all have to make money. Why? Because we need it to sustain our livelihood. Now, the method of how you make it, and if you are not happy with it, then you can either one, change that job, or number two, change the way you look at it so that you can change your mindset and feel a much more positive feeling towards your Monday.
Well said. And January and I are testaments to that change can happen. Like we said in the beginning of this episode, we both once had the feeling that Mondays sucked, or Mondays were, oh, or we dreaded it. I can tell you personally, I hated Mondays with a passion. I couldn't stand the idea of going to work for somebody else and then having to ask permission as a grown adult to have some time off, like an extra Friday or an extra Monday, just to go do something once a year. Okay. Now, that was me back then. My perspective has definitely changed. I'm a believer of freedom, but it took a lot of mindset work, a lot of inner changing, transformation. And that transformation did not come without many obstacles, without many pains, anger, frustrations, brokenness. I had to have my habits broken down for me to choose to rebuild myself in the way that I truly desired and the way I envisioned my life of freedom to be. So nothing comes without a cost, but it really starts with your decision, the decision today that you're going to say to yourself, hey now, girl, hey. That's how I talk to myself. Hey now, girl, hey, we got this. We're going to change it. It's going to suck. But like David Goggins says, embrace the suck. We can do this.
With that said, thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. Happy Monday, because I believe this will be airing on a Monday. So happy Monday, everybody. Make it a great one. You are amazing. Keep on doing what you're doing. Helen, where can we find you?
Oh, yeah. You can find me Hell of a Journey. That's HELOFJOURNEY. That's on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. Just add the number 1 to that. And Facebook, Sexy Freedom Media. Or join our member group, women's group on Facebook called Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed. The support in there is wonderful. Come join us. We'd love to have you. And you can also get my book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, available on Amazon and Audible. January, where can we find you?
You can find me, JanuaryLiddell.com. That's January, the first month of the year. Liddell, LIDDELL.com. So that's 2 D's and 2 L's. You can also find me Anchored Financial, both on Instagram and Facebook. Sorry, it's Anchored Financial LLC on both Facebook and Instagram. You can find me Alina, the Honeymaker. Alina is ALINA, the Honeymaker, both on Facebook and Instagram. You can also buy my book, Alina, the Super Saver. Woo! It's going to be available in 3 different bookstores. I'm not even going to share where, but 3 different bookstores, Indiana, Wyoming, and here in Oahu. That will be shared another time. And you can also find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Books A Million, amongst other places. That's where you can find me. Thank you, everyone. Aloha.
Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and share and leave us a review.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at sexyfreedommedia.com.